Hello everyone, welcome to my Bendy Hot Takes video. If you hear my brother screaming about Among Us and he's like, it's brown, it's because he's playing Among Us VR. I don't really wait for the perfect time just to record. I just record whenever I feel like it, and right now my brother felt like playing Among Us VR and he gets really into it, so I'll try and edit it out if it's really loud, but if I don't catch it, my apologies. Also, if any of you have any more Bendy Hot Takes, put them down in the comments because I will be probably making another one of these videos. Otherwise, if I don't get any, I will go to the Bendy Reddit page, which I found. I have it open in a tab. I will go there and I'll steal some hot takes from there. I don't know entirely how Reddit works. I'll see if there's other Reddit posts for Bendy Hot Takes, but otherwise I have one source, so I'm sure I can find other ones. Anyway, without further ado, let's actually get into the hot takes. Also, may I mention that my Bendy Give Me Your Hot Takes video that I posted has 110 views, so I know 109 of you saw that, and only 2 people commented, and only one of those people actually gave me a hot take, so, the reaction I expected, but not the reaction I was hoping for. Anyway, let's start with the hot take in, that video, being from Corey Nugget 6646. So he writes, I honestly hated the Dark Revival made Joey to be a good guy. After all the horrible things he's done. He's quite possibly worse than William Afton because of the dozens of employees becoming ink monsters and losing their sanity. So I do agree with this. I'm going to talk about 2 things. So first of all, him being worse than William Afton, 100%. The thing is, we don't know much about how people perceived William Afton or what kind of person he was in the way that we know what kind of person Joey is. Even though the books aren't canon, we do see a lot of his personality. He is a pathological liar, and he is very, I think charismatic is the word I want to use. He's able to sway people's opinions of him and make them believe that what he's saying is true, which kind of goes into him being a pathological liar. And also, Joey has killed more people. I'm not going to go through and count, every single person in Bendy and the Ink Machine and Bendy and the Dark Revival, and then go through and count every single animatronic in FNAF, assuming every animatronic isn't haunted, which we can go into lore reasons why they might not be. But even if you did that, I'm pretty confident that there would be more people in the Bendy category than animatronics in the FNAF category, if that makes any sense. Now, as for the decision to make Joey a good guy, I didn't think about it until I saw this comment, but it was definitely a different choice to make. But if we're lucky, this will kind of go down like it did in the books. I keep mentioning the books. I know they're not canon, and I keep saying that too, but I don't care that much. In the books, in both Fade to Black and Dreams Come to Life, not Lost Ones, but in Fade to Black and Dreams Come to Life, the main characters of both those books end up being kind of friends with Joey, and they thought Joey was pretty nice, pretty chill. But then towards the end, as they start to learn more about Joey and about the studio and about other stuff, they start to realize that maybe Joey is not that great, and in the case of Fade to Black, maybe even a bit crazy. But if we're lucky and this goes down like the books, Audrey will eventually realize that Joey is not to be trusted and that he's caused a lot of pain and suffering to a lot of people. So 2 other things you gotta understand about this version of Joey is it's the memory of Joey, and as I said, he's a pathological liar, so his memory of himself is gonna be just another large pathological lie. Which is why I believe that the story he tells Audrey in that one part of Dark Revival is absolute poo. I dealt the BS card and called bullshit on that story. Anyway, so this is the memory Joey, so it's obviously going to be a better version of Joey than the real one. And another thing you have to realize is that this game is told from the perspective of Audrey, not Henry. Henry knows what a horrible person Joey is. That's probably why he left the studio. Well, that and other things. But Audrey does not. She is an orphan. She just found out she's not even a real person. She's just some inky creation. And who created her? Joey. Which makes Joey her father. And as an orphan, she's going to try and see her parent in the best of light, I assume. I don't know. I'm just spitting stuff out there. But again, it's something you got to understand, is that the game is from Audrey's perspective, who doesn't know Joey that well, unlike Henry. And is also an orphan. Hopefully unlike Henry, I don't know. But she's an orphan, so she's in a weird spot right now, meeting her father, and then finding out that she's not even a real person, so... I don't know, she's dealing with a lot of weird emotions probably right now, which, sucks for her. But hopefully by the end of Bendy 3, I hope, she will realize that Joey sucks and maybe kill him. Send him to the void beyond, like she does, like this. Send him to the dark puddles. Also, while trying to find a picture of Audrey, I realized that the only time we see her face is when she's looking in a mirror. All of the cutscenes, except for the beginning one, are all from first person, from her perspective. So not my real name, not at all. 2476 wrote me the intro paragraph to her MLA formatted essay. So she writes, I don't really care for Allison. She's got a pretty design and all, but I find her personality lacking. She was supposed to be made to give Henry hope, but does so by just vaguely talking about hope sometimes, and most of the time not doing much. She gets, quote-unquote, cool scenes by coming in at the last second to win a couple of fights, but then she just walks right out of the plot because she can't be bothered. I get why, story-wise, Allison needed to exit the plot. You can't have a companion that's as skilled as she is supposedly supposed to be, but it makes her feel like this fair-weathered savior who comes in for big moments and dips when anyone needs actual help. The vessel of hope, that is, the hope that she'll actually show up. So Allison, I never got the vibe that she was supposed to be a beacon of hope. Sammy and the other Alice Angel, their shtick is just being freaking insane. One of them more than the other. I could list you a bunch of times where Twisted Alice was being absolutely psychotic. Sammy as well. Joey, his whole shtick is being a pathological liar and manipulative. List you a bunch of times where he makes these weird comments, like in The Illusion of Living, or even some in the game. But Allison, I could not name you one time where she even gives me any kind of hope. And that's crazy. I'm not going to go back through and listen to all of her audio, not logs, but like all of the time she ever talks, because I don't really care that much. But the fact that I can't give you one time where she gives anyone hope says a lot about her character. As for Allison's quote-unquote cool scenes, she kills Twisted Alice both the times, and then she shoots Sammy Lawrence at the very end of Dark Revival, which I'll play that clip in a minute, and that part was just so funny. I got the vibe that she was like, yeah, not today, Sammy.
Demon dance! Surrender yourself to the Lord, the Dark Puddles! It's time to believe!
Well, that was kind of hostile.
So, yeah, Allison walked out of the plot quite a bit. In Bendy Hot Machine, I'm not too upset about Bendy Hot Machine because I always felt like the story of Bendy Hot Machine was being written as the games were being made, and they didn't have quite as much of a vision. They had a vision, but they didn't know how they were going to go about making it, because each chapter is vastly different from the one that came before it. Chapter 1 is unique. It's entirely different from Chapter 2, from Chapter 3, from Chapter 4, from Chapter 5. They all have different, I say mechanics, they all have the same mechanic, but the way they play is vastly different. But in Chapter 5, yeah, Allison leaves the plot a lot. We are captured by her, I think is what it was. And, we're there in her little safe house for a while, but, the Ink Demon shows up. Oh, no, wait, no, he didn't, because we actually don't see him in the entire chapter until the very end, when we have to go fight him and the boss. But anyway, the Ink Demon shows up, supposedly, and, Allison and Tom Lee is for dead. We go to the boats, la-di-da, we could do the boat part, which sucks. I never liked that boat part. I always struggled with it. I was ready to rage quit, but then I finally got it. But anyway, you do the boat part, you meet Sammy Lawrence again. Oh, nope, he's dead now. Now we fight all these lost ones and searchers and giant searchers, whatever they're called, these ones. Yeah, it's kind of a hassle. I don't think anyone knows knows how to get past that. I always hide in a corner and just kind of let Tom and Allison kill everyone for me, and I just kind of sit in a corner. I'll play you some footage of what I do up on the screen, but anyway, yeah. So anyway, we're back with Tom and Allison. We're gonna all explore the studio together. Oh, no, we're not. We just fell down a crevasse into, I don't know, some underground area. Man, how big is this place? Anyway, so we get some, like, ink globs, and we fix the pipes. We go into this room that has ink on the floor and that you have to walk to actually get into the room. Allison and Tom are back. What, they had a rope this whole time? Well, good for them, I guess. Okay, now we're gonna finally explore the studio or something with them. Oh, here's the ink machine. Oh, was that you can't touch the ink even though you just touched ink to walk into that vault room that we were in, like, literally 5 seconds ago? Sucks to suck. Guess I'm going off on my own again. Would have been nice if Allison offered me a weapon. Would have been even nicer if I had asked for one. Well, it doesn't matter anymore. I guess we're going to find the final boss. Oh, final boss is over. This game is in color. Oh, no, wait, no, it's not. This whole game was an entire loop. Now figure out the lore, my guys. As for Dark Revival, oh boy. So, Allison's excuse for the reason why we can't come with her is because she has a Boris. I go, okay, fair. Tom didn't like Henry. I imagine he's very protective of Allison in general. Oh, no, wait, we're allowed to pet Tom, which is honestly more of a Betty Boris thing, but whatever, I'll take it. It's honestly really adorable, and I liked it. Allison, you lied to me, but don't think about that. Look at her design. Oh my god, look at your design. Look at you compared to this game, compared to the last game. Like, you could see every line on her face. Beautiful. Anyway, about Allison throughout the entire game. Through the power of plot armor, she's always there in these little speaker thingies. I don't really know what to call them, so we're just gonna call them speaker thingies. So yeah, she kind of, whispers to us every so often, gives us useless advice. I'm pretty sure I could have gotten through this game without her. But anyway, she finally shows up again, we pet Tom. Oh, wait, we're going off alone again because reasons. What was her reason she gave? Let's listen to that cutscene, shall we? I'm trying really hard to record this cutscene, but my Wi-Fi keeps crapping out. So, because I only bring the highest qualities, we're just gonna watch this grainy-ass video.
Basically confirming every Bendel and Tom.
Okay, I'll try it out.
Yeah, shut up, Minnie.
But only if you can tell me what in heaven's name you're doing in Wilson's retreat.
Wilson, I almost forgot. I have to get back right away.
Are you crazy? Wilson's our enemy.
Do you even know him? Have you ever talked to him?
I've seen what he's done.
And so have we.
That's good enough for me.
Look, it sounds like he has a plan to kill the Ink Demon. For good. And I think it can help us all. I just need to go back and hear him out.
Well, if it's true, you'll both need as much help as you can get. The Ink Demon won't go down without a fight. Tom and I will gather some of our friends. Anyone who's left. Good luck, Audrey.
You too, Allison.
Mind if I take this?
Oh, where's my pod one? Okay. And man, so her excuse would be, that she's gonna get Audrey back up, which honestly I can't even be mad at. Then she appears later and smites Sammy Lawrence. So, in conclusion, Allison needs to be worked on. If she appears in the cage, I imagine her and Tom and maybe Buddy Boris, we'll see, were the ones to get Henry and everyone else out of the pits. So, if she appears in the cage, they really gotta work on her, and I really hope they do. I hope that she comes and she's, this giant beacon of hope to Henry, like she's, written and told that she's supposed to be. It's all, oh, beacon of hope, Allison's here, oh. That kind of thing, if you feel me. But if not, hopefully she's such a minor character and she barely appears like she always does, and she's so minor that it doesn't make a big dent on the story. Because the thing with this series is it's got a lot of little problems that start to add up only if you look at all those little problems as a whole. And Allison is one of those little problems. So hopefully, if they don't work out her kinks, which I really hope they do, she's just so minor that it doesn't really matter that much. So Dear Hood Films writes, hey, sorry for not responding to your previous comment. I've been thinking over Bendy Hot Takes. I'm not as active in the Bendy community, but my biggest hot take is probably that the Lost Ones were better in Bendy the Ink Machine due to their depressed personality, instead of how crazy they are in Bendy and the Dark Revival. Also, Dear Hood, don't be lying to me when you're saying you've not been active in the Bendy community. I saw your last video. Where do you think I pulled this comment from? You can go check me. It's from one of your Bendy videos that you posted about a week ago, I think. That's by definition being active in the community. If you're posting content relating to the game, that is by definition being active, my man. But whatever, back to your hot take. You know, I like the ones in Ink Machine too. Mostly because they weren't even enemies until the 5th chapter, and then when they were enemies, their intelligence was, very lacking, to say the least. Their AI was not good. Then in Dark Revival, I'm like 4 freaking yards away from this dude, and he whips around and starts throwing ink globs at me. These guys, like, actually suck. And I'm like, and then you gotta squat to, like, banish them to the dark puddles, and you can't get too close walking, because then they'll whip around, so you gotta, like, inch your way towards these guys, and they're moving faster than you sometimes, I feel. Oh, and heaven forbid one turns the corner while you're trying to banish one to the dark puddles, then you got a whole freaking mob on your hands. But no, we're not here to talk about their mechanics. No, we're here to talk about their feelings and their personalities. Also, apparently this is what the Lost Ones see when we banish them to the dark puddles, so who's the real villain of the story here? I feel like, honestly, both the games were dealing with two very different Lost Ones. The Lost Ones in Ink Machine, they just give me the vibe that they haven't been affected by the cycle as much, so they're not quite as crazy, and they're kind of at that point where they just kind of given up on everything. They don't even try and fight you off. They just kind of give you a slight glance whenever you get close to them, because they've given up on everything. Why even bother with you? Nothing matters. They're never getting out of this place. It's destined to reset again and again, if they even realize that it's resetting. I always got the vibe that a lot of creatures in the ink loop didn't even realize that there's a cycle going on, except for, like, Henry. Because Henry is the main character, and through the power of plot armor, he must know things. So the Lost Ones in Dark Revival, on the other hand, they've been in the ink loop a little bit longer now. It's been a few years. They're starting to get a little antsy, a little bit twitchy, a little bit crazy. I think the ink cycle's done a little bit of a toll on them, I assume. They're starting to be head on a swivel, kill anything in sight, because that thing might kill you. The ink demon's been stalking the halls. It's caused them to be a little bit on edge, you know? But anyway, that's the thing I came up with. I definitely sympathize with the ones in Ink Machine more than in Dark Revival, just because, I don't know, they just seem so sad, you know? They just, like, it's like looking at a sad dog, you know? But the ones in Dark Revival, I sympathize with them mostly because you go, these used to be people, and now they're just so freaking crazy. It's really hard to look at. It's the same with Twisted Alice. You're like, wow, this used to be a person, and they've just lost all their humanity. I think it's the loss of humanity why I sympathize with them. But the ones in Ink Machine, they were just so depressed that it started making me depressed, honestly. Also, I found this. What would prompt you to make this? Just why? Why? What is wrong with this community? People need help. So Fazbear Entertainment 1983 writes, I feel like that weird indescript audio tape in the beginning of Chapter 4 in Bendy 1 might have been the process of Susie being reborn from the Sheen. It does sound like her voice actor is gargling on something, probably ink, when she becomes a searcher for the first time, then Alice the second time. So this is the room where you find the undescript audio log, and it's at the very beginning of Chapter 4 of Bendy and the Ink Machine, where you have to go get the, it's like this wheel you have to put on the door. I'm not going to show that, but you go into this room, and it's got, like, all these words written on the wall, like taxes, money, numbers, looks like phone numbers, I can't tell. But this is implied to be Grant Cohen's room. I can't think of anyone else it would be, or some other accountant, but they never actually mention another accountant other than Grant Cohen. But in this room, there is an undescript audio log, and I'm going to play it for you guys real quick, and I'm going to see if I can hear anything in it that he's talking about. But I never thought much of this audio, to be honest. It's not like the what's in the box dilemma with Five Nights at Freddy's. It's more of like just one of those unsolved mysteries. It's like, even if we found out who it was, would it really make a big difference for the lore of Bendy. So it definitely sounds like someone turning into an ink creature. I do kind of hear where it does kind of sound like a woman rather than a man. I do kind of hear it. I can't, tell you exactly where. You just gotta listen to it. But I don't know. I feel like this, if they put it in, some kind of Susie-related area, if you found this at the beginning-ish of Chapter 3, in that area where Alice Angel shows up, I would be more inclined to believe and say, okay, maybe. But the fact that it's in Grant Cohen's office kind of gives more weight to it being Grant Cohen. But again, it's not like The Box. It's not super deep, and it's not really going to matter either way. Thank God. But yeah, I definitely think this might be Grant Cohen. So, Baby Blue 9782 writes, I like the new Ink Demon design more, but I hate his voice. It made him, I don't know, sound less monstrous. So I personally really like Bendy's voice. I feel like it kind of sounds like Venom from the Venom movies. I'm going to play a clip in a minute, kind of show you what I mean. But there is also something about a silent, smiling monster that just kind of lurks around every corner that is very creepy if you do it right. And I feel like they did it pretty well, in especially Chapter 3. Chapter 3 was definitely the best with Bendy. He was in it the most. And the fact that he can appear at any second, and the fact that he just, slowly lurks around the hall, he's got this creepy, unnatural smile on him, and he doesn't say a word. There is something about that is very creepy.
You come in here again. In fact, you go anywhere in the city preying on innocent people, and we will find you and eat both your arms and then both of your legs, and then we will eat your face right off your head. Do you understand?
Please.
Yes. So you will be this armless, legless, faceless thing, won't you? Rolling down the street like a turd in the wind. Do you feel me?
What the hell are you?
We are Venom. On second thought. The dark bones awaken. Her voice, a soul. The ink speaks to me. It whispers your secrets.
I feel like they were trying to make him be more monstrous by making him, more this and giving him a voice. But, the voice doesn't make him more scary. It more is just, I think it's cool, But onto his design. So, you said that you like the Dark Revival Ink Demon better than the Ink Machine Ink Demon. I don't hate the Dark Revival Ink Demon. I think he's very cool, and he plays very well in his respective game, but I don't think you could put Dark Revival Ink Demon in Bendy Ink Machine. And I feel like the old Ink Demon had a certain charm to him. He wasn't the prettiest. Let's be honest. His model was lacking, I guess. But there was something about him not being this giant creature that really just made him a little bit more. Sometimes less is more, you know what I mean? But the thing with the Ink Demon in Ink Machine is, I keep going back to Chapter 3, because that was just, when he was the best. He would appear at random, and the way he appeared was you would hear this whisper in the background, and you would see the room get really dark, and it would have all this ink just appear. And then he would appear out of the freaking wall. He appeared out of the wall, man. He came out of the wall. And then the way he walked, it was very slow and labored, and you wouldn't think that he's that fast. But then when he spots you, oh boy, can he run. And back to what I said, the fact that he is a mute, smiling horror really adds weight to his charm. I think I honestly preferred him in Ink Machine. The way he played was so much better. Because the way he is in Dark Revival is his mechanic just kind of sucks. It sucks. You will get this audio prompt, and the screen will go black and white, and you will get these words down at the bottom, and they will say, "The ink demon's coming, you have to hide." And it's just like, this is the best you can do? How long did that game take to come out? It was like 3 years? I don't remember. But like, for how long it took to come out, for that game to come out, this was the best you could do from the ink demon. And the fact that the words appear every single time, I would have understood it if it was just the first time you ever encounter the ink demon. You know, the screen goes black and white and you get this little word prompt. And it's like, okay, cool. And then it goes away for the rest of the game. That would have been different. But the fact the word prompt appeared every single time is just stupid. Why would you make it that way? You know, I honestly feel like Dark Revival Bendy could play almost exactly like Ink Demon Bendy if they had really tried a little bit harder. Here's my vision. I don't know how to code. I don't really want to know how to code because it just never seems like something I enjoy. But I'm going to try and explain what I think they could have done as best I can. So what they could have done with Dark Revival Bendy is when he shows up, instead of having that black and white screen, it could do exactly like it does in Ink Machine. The whole room goes dark, but they could still keep the audio cue. I feel like the audio cue works in this instance, so it plays the audio cue. You have until the audio cue is done to hide, as per usual. If you don't hide, you die. They already have a bunch of death cutscenes. They're actually kind of cool. I like them. But anyway, you don't hide, you die. It sucks to suck. But if you do hide, the audio cue stops. The room's still dark, by the way. And the whispers start playing. Because I really want to have the whispers in there. It really just added weight to Bendy. But anyway, when the whispers start playing, it starts playing this cutscene that you view from the inside of wherever your hiding spot is. And it's this cutscene of Bendy coming out of the wall as per usual and walking across the room. I don't know, maybe he moves his head a little bit. To look for you. And then he goes into the wall on the opposite side of the room. I feel like that could work because they already have so many little cutscenes in this game. I feel like you could do it. Although you would have to have, each cutscene would have to be specific to wherever you're hiding. So like if you're hiding in this barrel and say there's like a little miracle a little ways back, you would have to code each one to play a specific cutscene depending on where you're hiding. And I've never coded. I say this like, oh yeah, that's super easy. I don't know how hard it would be to do, but I feel like it could be done. Although, to give Dark Revival Bendy some credit, his design definitely allows him to, like, leer over people better. Like, the way he leers over Audrey at the end, he's just basically like, "Hello, you insignificant imp. Time to die." So, unless there's some more hot takes from the internets, these next few hot takes are going to be from my friends. I texted them, like, "Hey, you got any Bendy hot takes? I need some more." So, this is going to be from my friends and my two brothers. So, my friend Lily says, Allison is basically annoying. She has you do all this stuff before she helps you, and while you're fighting most enemies, she just heats up some popcorn and watches you until you're done, as if, yeah, Allison, I definitely don't need you to help me out. Also, in Dark Revival, Betty is barely seen and is kind of useless. She probably didn't need to be added because all she is used for is being a caretaker for you. Lol. So I already touched on Allison and how, she does it. She just, like, kind of walks out of the plot and everything. So I'm not going to touch on her again. I kind of already covered everything. But yes. But with Betty, on the other hand, this is honestly kind of true. Honestly, all the things she does either could have been done by Wilson or even better by a keeper. You're not telling me that Wilson wouldn't, like, have keepers that he goes, like, "Hey, you, go fetch me a coffee." That would have been amazing. Like, have, like, specifically made keepers that are specifically made to be his house servants. Like, you have the crazy ones, like, that kill on sight, all those guys. But then you have the more chill keepers that, like, are his housemaids. And he just, like, "Keeper, gets me a water and a warm towelette." I gotta draw this now. That would have been hilarious, honestly. So my brother Mason said that Sammy is overrated. I mean, honestly, he's not wrong. I like Sammy Lawrence, but honestly, Sammy is kind of overly obsessed over. So, yes. On the flip side, my other brother Lincoln said that Sammy should have been in Dark Revival a little bit more. So I'm a little bit divided on this subject. I feel like mainly it's like, Should he have been in it more? Probably not. But did I want him to be in it more? Yes. Yes, I did. But I will say there is hope for the Cage because reasons. I'm not going to list it. It's kind of complicated to say, but hopefully he will have a big role in the Cage. He shouldn't die instantaneously because Allison's the one who kills him at the end of Dark Revival. I just showed you that clip. It was very violent. I don't know if Sammy deserved that, but so there shouldn't be any reason that Sammy should die instantaneously as he is known to do. But the thing about Sammy, I don't know why I like him, but he's this certain kind of psychotic that you can't do a lot with. Like, his whole thing is worshiping the ink demon, and that's, like, his only thing. The thing with, like, Twisted Alice is she's a different kind of psychotic that you can do a little bit more with. But with Sammy, he's kind of limited, you know. So, my friend Savannah says that, Sammy Lawrence is attractive. Get help. And that Tom is kind of annoying. So we're gonna start with the Tom thing, because Sammy Lawrence, I got some beef with this one. I might even write actual paragraphs in a script. I'm not using a script, by the way. I don't use scripts. They're overrated. Maybe I should sometimes, but then again, I don't really want to. But anyway, back to Tom being annoying. The only annoying thing he does is he leaves us for dead by the hand of the ink demon. And that was like, that goes beyond being annoying to being like a horrible person. And honestly, that was kind of like that was a mean thing to do, you know. It hurt my feelings when he left me to get killed by the ink demon. He should apologize. But like, other than that, I don't have much of an opinion on him. I think he's like the badass version of Boris that like gets stuff done. Like when you're down the vault and he like punches the door open, stuff like that. He like gets it done. But otherwise, I don't think he's like that annoying, you know. Now on to the hot take that you actually want me to talk about. Sammy Lawrence. I'm talking about the same Sammy Lawrence that's pretty self-centered, kind of a jerk, doesn't really respect anyone who's below him meaning like poor people. That's Sammy Lawrence, the one who in dreams come to life after getting a pipe burst in his face, after Buddy, you know, helped clean him off and prevented him from getting blind from ink. The first thing Sammy does to this kid is he goes up to him and he says, clean up this mess, being the mess from the burst pipe. And then Sammy just walks the hell away, leaving Buddy to clean up the mess, not very successfully, for like an hour. That's Sammy Lawrence. You must be talking about the other Sammy Lawrence, you know? The version that has no face, whose skin is made of actual ink, and who worships the ink demon. He's not any good either. You know why? Because he will kill you. He will kill you to help appease his god, the ink demon, even if you do worship him, I assume. Oh, no. You must be talking about the Sammy Lawrence that's a searcher. That's Sammy Lawrence. Or maybe you're talking about the dead Sammy Lawrence. That's the only one I can tolerate, because I refuse to believe that anyone is actually the self-centered. But let's say we actually meet someone like this, like Sammy Lawrence. Or even if we did beat Sammy Lawrence, you would want me, Savannah, you would want me to beat him with my alto sax. Get some help, set some standards, don't date someone like this, please. And if you are, please just end that relationship, because no one should be that in love with themselves. But then I hear the Sammy Lawrence fans scream at me, "But Isabel, didn't he date Susie Campbell? He can't be that bad." Well, did he really date her? The only evidence we have for that I can recall, and I'm pretty sure this is the only stuff, is Twisted Alice, who we assume is Susie Campbell, said that Sammy was a very handsome man. And then there was an audio log from Wally Franks where he said he heard both of them talking, and he said there was magic there, quote unquote. That is all we have. Sammy Lawrence is a self-centered ass. And I promise you, if you ever met someone like this, you would want me to beat them with my saxophone. You would want me to find all the Sammy Lawrence of the world and beat them with my alto saxophone. Well, I think I single-handedly angered like most of the Bendy community. Maybe all the Bendy community. Well, sucks to suck. Your opinion is wrong. I'm kidding. But not really. Not that I'm saying you can't like the character. I'm just saying he's an ass. So, Mega Gamer 08 told me that Dark Revival is kind of bad for how long it took to come out. So, I've already touched on Allison, I've already touched on Bendy. But I feel like Dark Revival had a lot of minor things wrong with it that kind of started to add up after a while. Ink Demon's mechanics sucked. Allison kind of sucked in the same way she kind of sucked in the first game. I don't know. I feel like Audrey was kind of incompetent. Like, it wasn't some big reveal that Wilson was the bad guy. Anyone who watched the trailer, honestly, anyone and their blind cousin could see that Wilson was going to be the bad guy.
You can feel it, and you can feel it. There's a lot of people.
Sorry, I just felt like that clip was so perfect for my point. Anyway, yeah, so everyone knew that Wilson was the bad guy, and his problem was that he was, like, so obviously the bad guy. And Audrey's problem that was she was just so obviously incompetent. Audrey is just stupid, honestly. She is just, it's so unbearable, you know? Because she goes to, like, the Keeper's gent building, and she sees all these dead bodies. I mean, I saw the dead bodies. She must have, too. There's no way you can just, like, walk past those. And, you know, this gent building is run by Wilson. You know, she gets captured by a Keeper, and Wilson's like, oh, I'm sorry. They're kind of weird when I'm not around. It's like, bro, if it were me, I would have melted Wilson's face by now and sent him to the dark puddles. If I saw that gent building, I would have sent him straight to the dark puddles. Even before then, he comes on the intercom at the very beginning. He's like, there's a stranger in here. I need you to get her for me, guys. Because, like, I banished the ink demon. So you gotta listen to me. That's basically the gist of what he said. It's like, that's sus in itself. And, like, even more so, the jet building was even worse. And the fact that Audrey keeps going back to the sky, and then it's like, oh, he's the bad guy. It's like, yeah, bruh. I knew, like, the second I watched the trailer. The first one. The one that released, like, 2 years ago, my man. You didn't fool nobody. It has been 2 years. It was 2 years that game took to come out. So, yeah. I did like the game, though. Like, overall, it was a fun experience, and, like, the only reason I start, like, hating on it is because I, like, contemplate it. But overall, it was a pretty good game, you know? It just could have been so much better. But at least it is so much better than, like, Security Breach. And, like, Security Breach could have done, like, way better if they just done so many things differently. But Dark Revival is not on the level of bad that Security Breach is. And, you know, honestly, every game could have done better. It's just Dark Revival had just a lot of little minor things that kind of started to add up, you know? So friend Brianna says, Boris is actually a psychopath because he saw a mass murder of his own self and had no other reaction aside from... I don't know, I want to blame the fact that the Boris model does not emote, but also they could have used some kind of body language, like he could have put his hand over his mouth, like, in shock. Like, he can emote fear. How does he do that? He puts his hands over his head and he kind of, like, goes into a protective squat, you know? That's body language. They could have done some kind of body language to show that Boris was shocked, but no, he just kind of goes like, huh, I don't know. Maybe he is psychopathic. I don't know, I feel like they were trying to show that he was shocked, but they didn't do it really well. But again, I don't blame them. It was the first game, you know, I keep saying. It was their trial run. So this is from my friend MJ, and she says, this is my friend's hot take. Benny has a nice ass. I can't with you people anymore.